Alrighty. Chapter 6, Still Seeking Love, episode 25. This one is a sort of a flashback. Remember I told you I had a mysterious visitor when I was about 2 years old. Also, my dad had a dream one time before I was born that
You were being born.
I was already born, and I
Name was Steve.
named myself. This one has to deal with a particular visit from somebody else of a higher importance. Throughout my first 10 years of life, my mom said I would cry, but tears would never come out of my eyes. I would never shed a tear. I would not, I would cry. I would be upset. I would hurt myself, but tears, she thought there was something wrong with my tear ducts.
Turns out she wasn't too wrong.
And
But we'll see.
of course, she didn't really believe in God at the moment. And my mom and dad were not in church at the moment in time when this happened. So this really kind of put a
It was like, oh,
it was an eye opener. It was like, what the hell? What's
I'm
going
listening.
on here? You know?
I'm listening now. Yes.
You got my attention.
Good
but-
luck, alarm.
Before then, they had instances where one time she was in the bathroom and there was a bunch of, she was kind of out of it, so to speak. And was hallucinating. I don't know if she was hallucinating. I actually saw demons floating around the air and around her head. And of course, it was kind of foggy, and it kind of scared her. And so she,
Oh, that's a demon. It's of course going to scare.
she said some prayer. She said a little prayer, and the demons kind of just dissipated. And my dad one time was sitting down on the couch, and he was out of it, and he was just, he looked up at a picture one time and could have sworn he saw Satan's face in the bottom left hand of the picture laughing at him. And so, they had some incidences where
Things happen.
supernatural phenomena were evident. And one time my mom was, of course, I told you about the UFO. Traveling back from California through the desert back to Arkansas.
Speaking of UFO.
Saw this UFO beside the vehicle. So like I said, our family is surrounded and shrouded.
And for your information, UFO means unidentified flying object. Doesn't mean it's aliens. It just means it's something strange flying. We don't know what it is.
Exactly. But it is, of course,
Of course, the government straight up said, "Hey, aliens exist."
It's
and
not
no
a
one
con-
batted an eye.
Yeah, but it's not uncommon for our family to be shrouded in supernatural phenomenon because it runs throughout Native American culture, and Native American culture is strong in our bloodline, along with the Irish.
Like that spook we caught at the cave.
Yeah, like the spook we caught in the cave. We actually caught a spook, and we actually caught a photo of
Bigfoot.
a Bigfoot. Believe it or
At least you
not,
believe, anyway.
if you want to believe it or not, you can believe it or you can't. I don't know if I got a picture of it on my phone or not.
I have it on my phone somewhere,
We have it.
but I have like 1,000+ photos.
We got 1,000 pictures. It's on there somewhere, but we got a picture.
It took me like 30 minutes to find it.
My stepdad, who was my stepdad now, went out one day and took pictures and
How many pictures
actually
do I
caught
have?
a picture of some sort of giant monstrosity of a shadow peering back at him, was kind of knelt down behind two trees. And we actually got a spook. It was at the Indian Rock House, and the Indian Rock House is known to being haunted. And we actually caught something coming out of the cave while my other son was inside the cave. They were inside. They were back in the corner in the cave there, and something came down out of the cave, went to the creek, and actually said, "No." because my wife panned the camera around to get a picture of the cave, and about 2 seconds into it, it caught something, and it kind of just darted down into the creek, and I actually spoke. I was like, what the heck is this? So it's, occurrence of phenomena like that is not uncommon. So it was in Texas, Commerce, Texas, and they had the living quarters downstairs, and the bedrooms were upstairs. And of course, at that time, my sister was always getting me in trouble, especially Sherry. Sherry was always the notorious one for getting me in trouble. So I heard her on purpose. I got pissed off and I heard her on purpose. Because I was mad at her. Mom pulls me in and says, "Why'd you do that?" And usually it's not a big deal to me. It's something strange was occurring at that moment in time. Like I said, my mom was worried my tear ducts were messed up. Like I couldn't cry. She was ready to call the doctor. She was ready to call the doctor instead of a doctor's appointment so she can check my tear ducts and see what the heck was going on with them. But this here, my eyes were starting to water. And I felt something come over me. I'm 10 years old. And to feel what I felt scared the shit out of me. Because I didn't know what it was. But something just came over me all of a sudden. And my mom's sitting there trying to talk to me. And I cursed my mother with my middle finger. And she said, "What was that for?" And I said, "I don't know." It wasn't me. I didn't do it. I don't know who did it. But it wasn't me. But my middle finger went up. And I don't know how it went up. I didn't do it. And that scared the shit out of me. And my mother realized something was going on. And because she saw my eyes starting to swell up. And the first time, the first 10 years of my life, she saw my eyes start swelling up with tears. And she's like, "Yeah, there's something going on here. Something's happening. Something's happening. Just don't ruin it. Just play along with it. Just go along with it and just see what happens." And she began to talk about God. And maybe I should go upstairs and ask God for forgiveness for what I did. And by this time, I was just bawling. Why I was crying so hard, I don't know. But something weird was going on, and I don't know why I was crying.
For your information, I have 7,105 photos.
That's too many photos. Anyway, back to this. She took me upstairs and left the door open just a little bit because she was cleaning the house. And I went over there and I sat down by my window. And I was just, blah, blah, I was just crying. I was just bawling my eyeballs out. Tears just pulling down my face. It's like a pond created at my foot when I was sitting. It was just, and Mom, she was nervous because the pressure the pressure that was on me, she could feel the pressure on me. She could feel it herself, and she kept the door open because sometimes you get pressure like that, you get suicidal tendencies. And that's what she was afraid of. So she kept the door open so she can hear. She turned the music off because she was listening to music. The music wasn't playing anymore. She would go to and she would vacuum a little bit, and turn the vacuum off, listen. Then she would sweep, and she'd stop and listen. And she kept listening to see what was going on up there. And whenever I was crying, that's great. It means I'm still okay. But as soon as the crying stopped, she missed the first 6 steps of the staircase trying to get up to me. But before she got up to me, this is what happened. And you can believe it or not, but it happened to me. Okay? I know what happened. I was there. I'm not on drugs. I'm 10 years old. I'm not on pot. I'm not on cocaine. I'm not on heroin. So I didn't hallucinate what I heard. I didn't hallucinate what I saw. But I was sitting there crying my eyeballs out, and all of a sudden I heard this voice, "Monroe," loud and clear as I'm talking to you right now. And I stopped And I turned around, and there's nobody there. My mom's not there in the doorway, because I thought my mom was in the doorway, and she wasn't there in the doorway. And so I felt weird. I felt the pressure just lifted. And so I turned around, I looked back out the window, watched the kids playing outside, and I heard it again. Monroe! I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And so I felt something there. Something was there. So I stood up and I started walking around. And as I was walking around, I felt something brush against me. And I looked down and I saw some Renaissance type sandals. And then I saw a white robe. And I followed the white robe up into the shoulder area, but right before I got to the shoulder area, it faded out. And at the time, I raised my head at a parallel level to the floor again. My mom was in the doorway. And her eyes were just, poof. She said, "You okay? Everything all right?" I said, "Yeah, Mom, I'm okay." Like I haven't been crying at all. My eyes were dry. I was fine. Nothing was wrong. I felt peaceful. And she said, I was glowing. When she finally calmed down and realized what happened, I was glowing. And she told me I was glowing. So, was it a visit from God? Was it a visit from Jesus? To me, yes. I got a visit from the higher power, from the big man himself. And that's what happened. Now, everybody else can say what they want to say, but I was there. I'm the one that witnessed it. I'm the one that felt it. I'm the one that happened to. And it was a very significant part of my life as I am now. And my mother and father still persist that I am on this earth for a specific reason. I have a gift. I'm special. I have a purpose. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. But that visit is an important part of who I am. Raising 8 kids, that's a pretty good purpose. And 6 of them were in my own blood. I've raised 8 kids. 6 of them stepchildren. 4 from a previous marriage, 2 from a marriage now, and of course my boys I've raised on my own. For 8.5 years, by the way. So that was but they seem to believe, have this strong belief that I have a far better, more significant purpose. But I keep living my life. I keep moving forward. I keep trekking forward, and we'll see where my life goes. We'll see how things end up. But in the meantime, I wrote a poem about this. This is a long poem. So sit back, relax, and enjoy it. Because it's, like I said, events like this that happen to you personally, you seem to really want to get into it. You want to put a lot into it. You don't want it just to be a few stanzas. You don't want it just to be a few little words, a few little lines. You want it to have an impact on the person you share it with. So the visit is what I'm going to share with you. Is that visit from the upper floor of my bedroom in Commerce, Texas. A boy of 10, he never shed a tear, he never cried. While standing before his mother after an incident of trouble, she spoke to him in a stern but calm manner. Why? Why do you hurt your little sister? Why are you so mean and deliberate? The devil made me do it, replied the young boy. But the mother knew better than this. The devil only tempts you to do bad things. The young boy begins to feel strange. Two unseen forces emerge upon him, one good, the other evil. These two forces began a battle for his soul, as though a tug-of-war game was being played. Then, as though something forced it out of him, the young boy cursed his mother, using the middle finger of his right hand. "What was that for?" asked the bewildered mother. The young boy replied, "I don't know." Now he was frightened as he begins to shake. Then, before his mom's astonished eyes, a long teardrop fell from the boy's cheek. His mom then knew something was going on. She told the young boy to go upstairs and ask the Lord to forgive him. The boy reluctantly went into his room, while his mom went back to cleaning the house. She felt something was about to have him. Pulling up a chair to the window by his bed, he watched the other kids play outside. For the first time in his life, he cried. His mother listened intently, continuing to clean. Her son cried and cried and cried. He was scared, for he knew not what was going on. Then suddenly, someone called his name, loud and clear, but upon turning to see, there was no one. His mom became alarmed by the sudden silence. She pictured her son in a suicide manner. In panic, stricken, made her way up the stairs. The pressure on him was so great and heavy. The young boy, however, looked back out the window. A second time, though, his name was called. He then stood and looked down at his fate. He felt as though another presence was there. He sees a white robe as he follows it up to the shoulder. The figure fades away as if it were never there. The young boy, though, still felt the presence, as his mom now stood in the doorway. Her eyes were in a state of awe. "What's wrong, Mother?" asked the young boy. "Nothing, son. Continue to pray." She went back down the staircase rather calmly. The young boy turns toward the mirror in an effort to clean his face. He saw something. He saw a glow, as though a halo surrounded him. And from that moment onward, that day became vital. It would dwell solemnly deep within him. The experience of a visit from above that he will never, ever forget. And that was the visit. Yes, it actually happened. Yes, it happened to me. And yes, I still remember as if it was yesterday.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty unique. Now, I said before, my dad had bought a trailer, and him and his, I think it was third wife, he had married Linda, and they had Paul Ray and Kim and all of them.
I found the picture of Bigfoot.
Well, I'm going to show you the picture of Bigfoot here in a minute. Matter of fact, we're going to blow it up so people can see it.
Believe it or not, that little black
right there.
That's Bigfoot.
That's
those two trees right there is all it's supposed to be.
Those two trees are all it's supposed to be there. Something is down on his knees, looking at my stepdad as he took that picture. Oh, it's just a bunch of bush. No, there's nothing there.
There's nothing.
It's just those two trees.
He went back out there and checked, and it was
he
just
went back out there and
trees.
checked it to make sure, and it was just those 2 trees. There's no bushes there. So what was that? Looking at him. But anyway, like I said, we was trying to help my dad save his trailer. So we moved in, and I think it was Sherry at first. And me and her got into it, and she decided she didn't want to put up with it anymore. She didn't want to deal with it anymore, so she left. And Amy came in, brought her boyfriend Kenny, and then it was back to Sherry, and then we got a roommate, and then they both just dumped on me.
I found the spook as well.
And then we both stopped, and here's a spook. Here's a spook one. Yeah. Push stop on the music so they can hear it.
Let's see if
push stop on the music.
You can see it just for a second.
You can see it just for a second. But play it again for them so they can hear it.
Get in the camera.
You lose the shade. There you go. Now, if you put your headphones on, listen real carefully.
You can hear it.
You can hear it say.
You can hear it say something.
You can hear it say something, but it's come to the conclusion. What we heard it say was like no, like it knew what that device was, and that cave. There's a cave. There's a cavern behind it. Inside the cave, there's a creek that you can get into the creek and go through, and there's a cavern. And the cave is collapsed now, but the cave part where there was where that split came out of,
it's a current.
There's another cave, a little small cave you can crawl through, and the Indians actually lived and died in that cavern.
And there was 2 divers that died there too, because there's a little river, underground river that they got stuck in.
There's 3 divers.
There was a few divers that died there.
So people went through the creek to try to get to the cavern, and they
get inside
the current dragged them under, and they had to go in there with professional divers and retrieve the bodies.
So is it either one of them or the Indians?
So it was either one of those that actually knew what the camera was, or it was a shapeshifter that actually was in that area that knew what the camera was. Because if you listen to it carefully, it says no. That's my conclusion of it. That's my theory of what it said. It said no. It knew it was being recorded. But there is death, and the Rock House is haunted. It has a haunted history. So it's crazy we actually caught something like that. But it's there. Now back to the story over here with the trailer. We're trying to save my dad's trailer. And I got me a little puppy. I called him Cody. His name was Cody.
That was a good dog.
No, I got this puppy before you were born.
What about the other Cody?
That was a Siberian Husky. This is a little tiny sucker.
Oh, yeah?
Little baby. He didn't live past 3 months. But when he got old enough to walk, I had a high porch. And
3 months.
I'll explain to you in a minute. We had a high porch, very high porch, so I made a little ramp for him to crawl up and down so he can get up and down so he can go potty. Because he was afraid to go down the big steps. It was too far. It was a hip, and hip. It was this far apart from each other. He was a little small sucker, so he couldn't get down the steps. So I built him a little makeshift ramp so he can go up and down it. They used it for a couple of times, and then we just started letting him out the back door. But one particular time, I was coaxing him to try to climb the ramp, and he did. To my surprise, he actually came up the ramp without falling down, without slipping. He actually got to the top of the porch, and so I made a poem about the puppy conquering the ramp. And it's called To Conquer Fear. This was in 1993. To Conquer Fear. And that's what he did. He conquered his fear. Because if you have a little puppy and you look way up there, and you're going to try to traverse this little ramp, going way up there, you're conquering your fear. And he did. I think he did 2 or 3 times. He finally got used to it and started just. The first time he was eat.
Don't fall.
And then he finally just started running up and down. He got so used to it, it wasn't no big deal. But getting through that first time, made a little poem about it. A puppy that conquered his fear. To conquer fear. It's the name of the poem again. And here we go. It's so high up there. I don't know if I can do it. I'm so little and afraid that if I start up, I'll fall. I came down the ramp. I should be able to go back up. Maybe if I bark loud enough, my master will hear my cry. Maybe he will come get me. I barked loud enough, I think. He should have heard me. Ah, there he is in the doorway. He's beckoning me to climb up. He says I can do it, but it's still so high up there. I tried the steps, they're too big. I tried climbing earlier and fell. Maybe he won't knock me off again. I tried crying for my master again. Maybe I can avoid this task. My master is in the doorway, his arms are crossed as he watches. He still believes I can do it. So I guess, tentatively, I'll try. I must conquer this fear. I cry again, for I'm afraid. But if Master believes in me, then it must be that I can. Okay, first paw and now the second. Now to go forward and up. Whoa, getting a little dizzy. Just have to take it one more time. Oh boy, that was tough. I'm at the center of it now. A wooden horse used as a connector is there so it's not so steep. My master watches me. He is still beckoning me. Let's finish this monumental climb. All the way up, I must go. Slowly now, almost there. Just a bit further now. There. I have completed this feat. My master is so proud of me. We go inside now and close the door. The ramp still sitting there, all alone. Pretty well guess that little old me has just beating. To conquer fear. In the puppy's eyes. All right.
So what happened to the dog? Why do you only live 3 months?
Well, the poor thing, a few weeks after the incident there, he got parvo.
Yeah, that sucks.
Anybody knows what parvo is? It's a disease that puppies get between the first weeks to the first 3 months of their birth, of their existence. And if they get it, it's almost certain death. Very seldom does a puppy live through parvo. There have been cases where puppies have survived and kittens have survived getting parvo, but the death rate is a very high.
What gives him parvo?
Huh?
What gives parvo? Like what's?
It breaks down the.
What? No. What is it? What gives it? Like what? Like mosquitoes? Insects?
I'm not sure. I have to look that up one day and try to figure out what it was. But it breaks down the immune system. It breaks down the intestinal tract, where they can't use the restroom. They can't digest anything. They kind of get over bloated, and then become sick, and their insides just rupture, and they end up dying. So I had to call the neighbor because I couldn't do it. And I went to the front of the trailer with my soon-to-be girlfriend, soon-to-be his mother. When I eventually meet her eventually, and that's when that's after I met her is when he died. I went to the front of the corner of the trailer, and he went to the back, so I couldn't see it. And he took his pistol out, and he ended the suffering. And he wrapped him in a blanket so I couldn't see the damage from the pistol to the head. And we went back out to the back with a shovel.
That's what we did with Miko too when he was degrading.
Went back to the back with a shovel and buried my little Cody. He was a cute little dog too. I love that boy. Love that little dog. He was a cute little dog.
Better let them rest and let them suffer.
Yeah, better to put him to rest and let him suffer because he was suffering. He couldn't digest. He couldn't eat. So we had to
give him some mercy.
Had to give him some mercy. So we're going to end. This is 25. Episode 25. This is the third episode. I promised 4. So I've got one more episode to cover. And then we'll let you soak on those for a little bit and get caught up a little bit. And then we'll come back next week or next 2 weeks or whenever we have a chance to, and we'll continue on with the story. In the meantime, we will be right back with episode
part 4.
26. And take care.